Can ChatGPT help me accurately diagnose and fix my broken BMW? Part 2. In the last episode, we chased a misfire on cylinder 1. We did a coil swap test, which did temporarily fix it. However, the misfire came back on the same cylinder. That tells us something. Instead of moving to injectors, we're going to go step by step. So today, that brings us to the spark plugs. First, we're going to gain a little bit of accessibility. We're going to go ahead and remove this cowl right here, along with the intake for the cabin air filter. So the tools I'm going to be using is an 8mm socket and a T30 Torx bit. From what I've seen right now, there's 4 8mm bolts, 2 right here at the front of the cowl, 2 by the cabin air filter, and then on the far sides of the cabin air filter, there is the Torx 30 screws on either side. So we're going to go ahead and remove those, and then I'll show you the tabs to get to after that's taken care of. Might help if the ratchet was going the right way. Already lost a screw. Got to pause to go fishing real quick. Hold on. There she is. Go ahead and swap over to the T30. Once all those screws are out, cabin air box will just come right up. Look at that, some pine straw. Now that the cabin air filter's out of the way, there's one little small sensor right here. I don't know if mine's broken or if there's a piece, but it kind of just slides right out. And there's little clips that retain it here. You just pry it up and they'll come loose. Move that out of the way. And then there's little rubber locking tabs that cover the DME box and that hold onto the cowl. Pry those out of the way. This wiring harness that runs over the top of the engine, I think one of mine tabs is broken, 2 of them are not, but they actually go all the way in, and there's a small tab on the top that you can pry down with a small flat head, push in and then down, and it should free it. There she goes. Did it just break it off? I think it broke it off. Oh well, they're old and they ain't very easy to mess with anyways. Alright, that one didn't break, but one did break. Next we'll remove the brake master cylinder cover and also the DME box cover. They just have these side tabs. They lock in and you just pry up and they'll pop right off. I'm sure this isn't the original hardware, but mine car has 2 10 mils in here loosely, and that's going to be holding down the front of the cowl here. Now that those last 2 are out, I don't know what a stock one would have because I know that's not the factory hardware for that. Just slide up and out. Oh, one last clip for that, for the windshield wiper fluid hose. That's all right, I didn't notice that before. And then the whole cowl comes straight out. Oh, huge dent in the hood. No, it actually didn't dent it, but definitely don't mar your car up trying to get the cowl out. Well, that just gave us a lot more access, so we'll be able to get in here and actually not have to fight the cowl. Now, before I go removing the spark plugs that are in the car, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to gap one of these plugs to the appropriate spec, and then I'll gap the rest of them off camera. So to properly gap this plug, I am going to be using a Precision Raceworks spark plug gap tool. It has this adjuster screw that pushes down on the ground strap. To test it, I have this feeler gauge that's going to give us an exact measurement on the gap. For my M54, we're going to be using a .22. It is 0.022 inches. If I can get it to come through. There it is. You can kind of see it. So this will be the measurement of how to know that it's gapped correctly. I did end up picking this tool up from Turner Motorsports. So if you need to gap your spark plugs, definitely pick that up from them if you need the tool. And I'll go ahead and show you how to do it. So first I'm going to just back the adjuster screw out just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and hand thread the spark plug into the bottom of the tool. I get it lined up to where the front of where I can see the gap straight on like that. I'm going to go at very small quarter turn increments, and then I'm going to pull it out and measure with the feeler gauge. Back it off a little bit. I do want to take the tension off of there while I measure this. I felt some slight resistance there, so let me just pull this out. All right, so 0.24 is still going in there, so we need a little bit more. All right, 0.22 is going in with slight resistance. We're going to test the 0.24. Still able to fit, so we got a little bit more to go. That's 0.22. All right, 0.24 no longer fits. 0.22 slides in with slight resistance. 0.24 does not fit anymore. So that is how you know your plug is correctly gapped. So I'm going to go ahead and get these ignition coils out of the way, and then we will start with the spark plugs. Same as the last videos, I did the ignition coil test. I'm going to pry up on this plastic locking tab and then go up, and that's going to push the connector out. Once the connector is out, remove the ignition coil. Before I could even get through removing the coils, I realized that the rubber boot has broken off of the bottom of the coil on cylinder 1 and 2. So I don't have any long needle nose pliers, and I'm going to have to do some thinking outside the box to get these removed. Cylinder 3, I did pull that coil out, and it did come off. Just to show you what I mean right here. So this rubber boot is supposed to stay on, and this is the problem with running parts store coils. So even though this is a Delphi coil, if you order it from a site like FCP Euro, you're not going to have the same design. So it's the same manufacturer. However, it's going to be a different design, and these are not going to be as easy to come off. They got heat soaked and they failed. So that could have easily caused weak spark and other issues. So I'm going to work on getting these out. And then looks like I definitely need coils. And I don't have ignition coils. I only bought spark plugs for this video. So we're going to see if I can get these out without long needle nose pliers. I'm actually just going to grab my pick tool and see if I can hook to it and just rip it out. Got two different ones. I don't know if they're long enough though. Got this hook and this 90. I'm going to try the hook first. Oh yeah, it's long enough, just barely. Oh, it's really on there. Oh wow. Well, there's one removed. Looks like pick tool straight away is the answer there. I just don't want it to rip through. Let's try the other side here. Oh, there's number two. Also, I noticed there's a crack right here already. So this is no good all the way around. Definitely gonna need new ignition coils. No question about it. All right, I'm gonna remove the rest of these coils and see if any of the other ones are stuck. Cylinder 5 did not want to let go. Since they're already failed, I'm just gonna go right back in with the pick tool. And this one's tricky because this strut braces right in the way here. Cylinder 5. See if it has any cracks or tears. That one looks better than the first two. And it let go. So 3 out of 6 failed and 3 out of 6 were okay. I now have the appropriately gapped spark plug ready to install. I'm gonna go ahead and install this one. I'm gonna do them one at a time. Take one out, install the one, take one out and install the next one. Go ahead and hand thread these on, make sure there's no issues. Went on smooth. Cylinder 2, definitely rough off. Not quite as bad as cylinder 1, which was presenting the misfire. We have the spark plug that I gapped already. We're gonna go ahead and install it on cylinder 2. I unfortunately don't have a torque wrench, so I am doing the quarter turn method. So I'm going to take the ratchet, I'm going to go quarter turn, and that's it. Go ahead and remove cylinder 3, spark plug. Very similar to cylinder 2. There is a bit of gray and white chalkiness that is normal deposit on very old plugs, as I'm sure these are. Cylinder 3 getting its fresh spark plug. I'd be lying if I told you I wanted to take the last 3 out by hand with the ratchet. So I'm going to put the battery ratchet on it. I am going to break it loose by hand first. Yeah, that was a lot better. Cylinder 4 plug. New gap plug for cylinder 4. I will be doing the quarter turn with a regular ratchet. Looking similar to 3 and 4. Number 5 going in. Our quarter turn. All right, we'll go ahead and remove spark plug number 6. Very corroded, but definitely looks almost the better out of the rest of them. And lastly, spark plug for cylinder 6. Quarter turn. I'm going to go ahead and install the coils in the exact same position that they were in, just for testing purposes. I do understand that they are toast and that I am getting rid of this part store Delphi coil junk, and I'm going to put some decent ignition coils in here. But just for the sake of testing, so that I can see if we fix the misfire, we're going to go ahead and reinstall them in the exact same position. Now that the coils are in, I'm going to clear the codes with Pro Tool just so I don't have to hook up that stupid little tuner thing. See where we're at with it. So last thing was the misfire should still be here. It was coming up on my Pro Tool as well. Oh, now we have a million misfires. Alright. Those are all those codes that I was talking about, the ABS codes the last time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and clear the faults. Alright. Everything's cleared. Let's reread it. Alright, cool. So those are all done. The misfires are gone. We're going to turn the key back off. There's that lovely chime again. I'll remove it. Wait for about 30 seconds. Alright, we waited. Insert the key again. And we're going to clutch in and start it up. We'll let it idle here for about 3 to 5 minutes and then see how it's running.
The new spark plugs are installed and everything's back together. Unfortunately, the cylinder 1 misfire is still present, so that means the spark plugs were not the issue we were dealing with. Since we've already ruled out the spark plugs and we've ruled out the ignition coils, the next step is to start testing the injectors. So in the next episode, I'm going to be removing injector on cylinder 1, swapping it with the injector that's on cylinder 2, and then we'll see if the misfire follows. And it's going to start getting expensive here in a bit.